Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with a respiratory video, a Q&A this time. If you don't know me or anything, it's Alana Ray. Yeah, I'm a respiratory therapist. I've been one almost 2 years now, which is really exciting. I can't believe how fast time goes. My stinking cat always is in the way. But yeah, I can't believe how fast time goes. I went from doing a staff job to becoming a travel respiratory therapist really early in my career, and I feel like that's what made it go fast. Me being a traveler, every time, it's every couple months I'm somewhere new. I think I have worked at 6 jobs already. 6 jobs, it's really crazy. But yeah, I love being a respiratory therapist. Currently right now I'm on a break because like I said, I am a traveler. That's why I don't look like a respiratory therapist. I could have put on scrubs, but truth be told, I didn't really feel like it because I'm tired of putting on scrubs every time I make a video. Y'all know I'm a respiratory therapist. And also, my nails don't look like a respiratory therapist. I was at a 90s party for my friend, so that's why I have these long ass nails. I normally don't wear long nails like that, but I do think they're kind of cute. And I definitely could never wear these at work, so I do not look like your ideal respiratory therapist right now. But anyway, so a lot of people have been asking me to do a Q&A. That's what I want to do, and I know Q&As really help. They really help as far as learning about me and respiratory and all that. So right now I had got a lot of questions. So right now I'm gonna start with the ones on my Instagram since it hasn't been 24 hours, and then I had got some DMs about some respiratory questions. I didn't look at any of these questions, so I'm kind of just talking about it now. And so hopefully it goes good because I didn't write none of this down. I don't know what I'm gonna be asked, and I don't know what I'm gonna say. So here's a question. It says, have you ever worked in the ED? Yes, I have. I worked in the ED when I was in Dallas, and I the first time I started traveling in Dallas twice, and then never when I was in Houston, never when I was at my staff job, but I did work in the ED. I don't like working in it. It's too fast paced. It's too scary. The times that I was in there, one of the days I was in there, it was not a lot going on, thank God, and there was another person in there with me, so it was he was kind of helping me, but I didn't, do much. There was another time that I did work in there, which was also in Dallas, and it was a person that came in in her CO2 was 100 something, and there was really nothing else we could do for her because she was on her way out. But I was just helping with the ventilator settings and stuff. I wasn't by myself at this specific hospital. My cat is being so crazy right now, so excuse that noise. But at this specific hospital, they always had 2 people in the ED, especially with a traveler. You'll probably need somebody to be there with you because you don't know all of the hospital's procedures and how exactly they do things. But the lady helped me with the vent settings and everything. At that hospital, we only assisted with intubation, so I'm pretty sure I assisted. But other than that, it's really fast paced. I don't see why anybody likes to work there, but I always notice guys love working in the ED. It's weird, but I don't like working there. I tell hospitals sometimes I'll be yeah, I don't do ED, but of course if they say you have to, then I would do it, but it's not my preference. Okay, what states are the best states to get a license in? I would say Texas, because y'all know Texas be having that money, but normally when I've been working in Texas, I don't have a Texas license. They just use the emergency COVID license. So I would say Texas because they pay more, but there are a lot of it really all depends on where you're from. Florida, I would say get a license there. They have pretty decent contracts if you want to travel 3,000 to 4,000 a week. It just depends on what season. Is it COVID season? Is it flu season? I feel Florida would be good. Now I'm from Florida, so that's one of the reasons I'm saying it as well, because I actually look into Florida contracts. Georgia, they have decent contracts. I've seen some like I see some contracts in Georgia like 8,000 and stuff, 9,000. Did I see one 9,000? No, I didn't see 9,000. I did see 8,000, 7,000. So Georgia would be good, but it really all depends. I haven't traveled in every state. It kind of just depends on what you want to do, how much money you want to make, as well as what like places you want to see. The good thing about being a traveler is you can see all these places in the United States and overseas, and like it just really all depends on you. And I know New York is a good place to have a license though. I will say that, because New York, they pay a lot and they always have something going on. So if you want to get a New York license and look into their travel things, then their travel contracts, then I think that would be a good idea. Okay, how does your profession duties change when traveling? Is it harder at different facilities? I would say yes, I would say yes, because different states do different things. I've talked about this before. Like some states intubate, some states assist with intubation, some states have ventilator settings like they want us to change. Some states, the doctor tells us how to change it. So it's really different. Like we do A-line insertions in Georgia and Florida, Texas. No, the doctor does that. So it's just different states have different rules and regulations as far as what respiratory therapists could do. So it does change. But don't let that make you think that you won't be like, working as hard. Because I used to think that. I used to think, oh, well, in Texas, we don't intubate, we don't do A-line insertions. Okay, but there's also a lot of things that you do in Texas. So don't think that you just, I'm just like a respiratory tech. They be calling us respiratory tech. I'm just a respiratory tech. I just do this and this and that and that. No, you really do hard down work. So it does change within different states, but you're still working hard. And just because they don't like go do this job doesn't mean that they don't focus more on another job, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, how do you apply for your license in different states? You literally just Google respiratory license in Chicago. Like I just went to Chicago for the 90s party. That's why I said I got my nails done. But I was thinking about, should I get a license in Chicago? Because I kind of want to work here. But I literally just looked up Chicago respiratory license, and then all the information, it'll probably be the first site that you see. So that's all you have to do. It's really not that hard at all, and you just do that with any state you want to work in. Some states it may be harder the process may be harder. However, once you're there, like as long as you have your RRT and your CRT, you can definitely get a license. I'm pretty sure. Can you make a living being an RT? Yes, you can make a living being an RT. Y'all see, I'm making a living. But I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first started RT and I was making like 24 an hour, I was just like, my nose is itchy. I think that means somebody talking about you, but I don't know. Okay, but anyways, yeah. So when I first started RT, I was making like 24 an hour, and I got a settlement or whatever. I'm just gonna tell y'all all my business. So I got a settlement for a car accident, so that's how I paid my rent up. So I paid my rent up for 3 months, and then it gave me more of an opportunity to save. But I feel like $24 an hour, I don't know if they're still paying that, but I feel like yes, you could make a living, but you might not. You might feel like you're struggling. And like when I was at my first job, I felt a lot of people were struggling, and I didn't like that at all. That's why I got more into traveling. And there are different things that you could do with respiratory, like although although like you make $24 an hour that's where you start at, you could pick up more hours. You could branch out sales and sell respiratory equipment. I know they make more. You could travel. Respiratory is not I don't know, like you could live comfortably, but I just personally I don't feel like $24 to $25 an hour. I don't know if they're still paying that, but I just feel like it's not enough, because it's like, pay your rent, now what else you got to do with your money? Not much. So unless you're like a really good saver, like yes, you could make a living off of it, but you have to branch out into those other things. Don't get comfortable, especially young. Like don't get comfortable, and another thing is, like, some people be working so many hours with respiratory, and it's like you can do other things. Like, I'm coming up with the business since I have a YouTube channel and I have people that like me talking about respiratory. Some of you guys I reached out to because I'm trying to start a scrub company. Well, I am going to start a scrub company, and that's something, it goes hand in hand with respiratory. So yes, you could make a living off of it, but don't just think respiratory is what I'm gonna do and I'm just gonna be rich and stuff like that. Not unless you travel. And even if you travel, it's like that shouldn't be all you do. You should try to get different sources of income, and they can all relate to respiratory, but just don't get comfortable making $25-26 an hour. I don't see how people could do it, especially if you have kids. Like, a lot of people had kids, and I'm just like, how do you do it? So how hard is it to find a job? It's not hard to find a job at all. Even if you just graduated, go on Indeed, look up respiratory jobs. I promise you they'll call you within that week. Like, just keep looking. Depending on what city you live in. Like, I live in Atlanta, there's like millions of hospitals. And even in Orlando, it's like millions of hospitals. So it's not hard to find a job. If you live in a smaller city, it may be a little harder, but maybe you could I know smaller cities have different surrounding smaller cities. So I say just, go there and work there or whatever. It shouldn't be hard to find a job. It should not be hard to find a job. Okay, what's the worst part about your job? The worst part about my job is seeing people pass away and seeing their families be so sad and getting connected with people. Like, I'm the type of person, I get connected with people. I don't care. I get connected with people. Like, I love seeing like people and being there for them and being extra. Like, I'm not on the fake stuff. I'm not fake when it comes to patients. Like, I really do love and care about you. Like, this one lady, she gave me a hug and everything, and she was like crying and telling me her life story and how God was so good to her. And it's just like, she was like, come and visit me before I leave. And I didn't get a chance to visit her, but I should have. But yeah, I get so connected with patients and stuff. So like, seeing like a bad outcome with the patient, that's the saddest and hardest part of the job. Like, you have to kind of be strong. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, it's life, it happens, but that's the hardest part of the job. Will you ever have kids? Oh my God, yes, I will have kids. Hopefully I have kids soon. I don't know. Gotta find the right guy, So yeah, I may have kids. Do you plan on going back to school? No. At first I wanted to. I wanted to be like a PA or a midwife or something like that. But right now I'm not interested in going to school because I'm making money. So it's just showing me like I can make money and start businesses and just different ways of making money besides going to school. I don't see myself going back to school. I always wanted to, but it's like, once you live life and graduate, plus you making money on top of that, you ain't gonna want to go back. I'm just gonna keep it real. You're not really gonna want to sit back and have teachers telling you what to do. And like, if I was to be a midwife, like, I would be making like $100,000 a year, something like that. Like, I could make more than that if I really put my mind to the things that I really need to focus on. Do you learn about different illnesses and diseases? I'm taking respiratory prerequisites. Yeah, I do learn about different illnesses and diseases. Of course, the main thing would be COPD. Like, become experts at that. Like my uncle that passed away. Rest in peace, Uncle Junior. I love you so much. Yeah, so he had COPD and I learned a lot about his disease, I actually went up to his hospital and I talked to like his doctors and stuff. That was when I had low-key first started respiratory too. So we do become an expert at COPD, like COVID, of course, become experts at that. Pulmonary embolism, all of that type of thing. Like, yeah, we do become experts. There's some diseases that I don't really touch on, like the baby illnesses or the child illnesses. Like, I don't really, like RSV, I don't really, touch on that or talk about that much because, I'm not a pediatric respiratory therapist. So, but there are diseases that you do come more into contact with. Like, I didn't like cystic fibrosis. I don't think I ever had a cystic fibrosis patient, but it's good to know because some people like to work in children and peds and stuff. I personally don't because it's sad, and you see I said I get connected to the patients, but definitely yes, you do touch on diseases, but you don't touch on every disease. It just depends on where your specialty is. And I don't even, like right now, I can't even think about the neonatal diseases, so I don't know. All right, let me see. Have you ever attempted an intubation? No. I need to. I need to get into that, but no, I have not attempted an intubation. And okay, so now I'm looking for these questions that someone wrote me personally. She said, what sort of benefits should new RTs look for when searching for their first job? Personally, me, I don't really look for benefits because I'm on my dad's benefits. But if you're into health insurance and stuff, then you should, or you have a husband or something, you'll be like me, you don't have to get into benefits. But you should, this is really hard because I haven't worked a staff job in a long time, but you should just look into the pay, of course, and like see if they let you do overtime and how much overtime, and I guess just the health benefits. I personally don't care about benefits, so this is a hard question for me, but I hope I answered that as best as I could. How have you been able to balance your social life / work life so well? Because I travel and I take months off. Like, I have months where I'm doing nothing but work, and then I have months that I do nothing but turn up, and that's why y'all see me like turning up a lot if y'all follow me on Instagram. So if you don't travel, I'm not gonna just say only travelers can have fun and live their life. We only work 3 days a week, so don't try to be overworking to the point you can't have fun and you can't have a life outside of work. Definitely work your 3 days, or if you work 4 days, work your 4 days and plan accordingly. Build your schedule so you can still have a good time. Do you have any budgeting savings tips? Yes. I don't know too much about saving, but one thing that I do know, I have a lot of money saved up. Well, I save a lot of money. And the reason is because I pay bills ahead of time. Like, I'm not an expert at saving, but I know if my rent is paid for like 3 to 4 months, then I could chill. If you gotta live with your parents so you could have money for your rent, it just shouldn't be good to pay bills like I'm paying my rent every single month. Like, every month, like the first comes, that's when you pay your rent. I feel like that's not good at all. You should have money saved up. So if you gotta live with your parents, in my case, I had a settlement. If you gotta live with your homegirl for a little bit something, that's what you should do. The best way to save is to have bills paid up, because you could save more money like that. Even your car, like pay your car up. Just don't live paycheck to paycheck and pay your bills up. Like, that's the best way, and try to pay things off if you can. So that's a big saving tip for me. Whenever you get a lump sum of money, like if you get a bonus from working at a hospital, like you get I don't know how, I never had one, but like if you get those 2,000 bonuses, save it and put it towards your rent or your car. So you just can save and live life and not be worried about next month you gotta pay rent, next month you gotta pay your car or something. That's what I would do. How long do you plan on staying into the respiratory field? As far as right now, I would say 2 to 3 years, but this is just me saying because that's what I want to do. I want to say 2 to 3 years because I really pray that my business and believe that my business and my things outside of respiratory will have me making money to where I don't have to work. But if I wanted to, since I'm a traveler, I can pick up contracts here and there. So I'll probably be working it for a long time, but just not as much as I do. And yeah, I like respiratory. I love helping people. I love healthcare, and that's why I'm vegan and I try to promote healthy lifestyles. So it's not that I don't like respiratory. I just don't like working. I like living my life, and I don't like, working in the hospital. It is really sad, and that's my main thing. It's like the sadness of the hospital is the reason that it's like the behind the scenes, like seeing people come from car accidents, and like I'm behind the scenes, like no, sometimes I just rather hear about it and not be the one actually helping out. So that's why I love respiratory, and I'm so grateful and blessed that I came into this career, but I don't want to be in it too much longer because I need more money. I need more money, and it's just like I'm sick of the sadness, and I want to have more flexibility with my time, even though it may seem like I had that already. All right, my camera's getting hot, so let me hurry up with these last questions. Tips on what to look for travel agencies. Make sure you look at the stipend and how much you will be getting paid. Like don't have them, like don't get paid so little and then the stipend is so like big. How can I say this? Just make sure you have enough for the stipend and your pay. Like don't, overlook it. That's pretty much what I would say. I work with mainly the same travel agency, so they pay for my stuff. But when I did work for another travel company, make sure the stipend and the amount you get paid is something that you would like. And also make sure they tell you everything, and sometimes these travel companies, they won't give you what you deserve. So make sure they give you like what you're looking for. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say for it. Like I said, I only work for one travel company, so I'm not an expert in it. If anyone is and they feel like I'm saying something wrong, then just comment below. Okay, what was your worst traveling experience? When I got put in a hotel that had freaking roaches, and the hospital I was at was terrible. Like it was roaches in the hospital. That was my worst traveling experience. All my friends would tell you, like it was terrible. I was crying. Like I had gotten into it with the nurse because he was mean, and I had to tell him off. Like it was just the hospital itself had no like, I felt like they didn't care. And the place I was in, the town I was in was near the hospital, and it just wasn't safe to me. So yeah, that was my worst traveling experience. I won't tell you where and I won't tell you with who, but just know like I thought I was never going to travel again after that. It was just awful. It was like 10 colds a day every single day. Like they did not care about their patients, to me, in my opinion. Would you recommend your career path to individuals interested in the medical field? Yes, because you can grow from it. Like you can see what you want to do once you work in the hospital, and then you get into like intubating and all these different lung procedures. You might say, hey, I want to be a pulmonologist, or you want to go deeper into something that is more respiratory related. Also, you have a lot of flexibility with your job. Like we only work 3 days a week, as well as nursing. We only work 3 days a week, and you could travel. I love respiratory. Like I don't think I would want to be a nurse because I don't know. I just wouldn't want to like learn all the medicines and stuff. So that's why I wouldn't be into nursing, and I know some people are. It's just a difference. If you haven't watched my video, then watch my video with my friend Siobhan about nursing versus respiratory. And then you could kind of get more into the differences between us and see which one you want to do. But I like respiratory. I like our flexibility. I like how we save lives. I like all of that. So I hope I answered that question right. But anyways, my camera's getting hot. That's why I'm kind of like speeding it up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoy me. And if you have more questions, just ask. And like I said, I'm starting a scrub company soon, so y'all stay tuned for that. It's gonna take off. Watch, it's gonna take off. But yeah, bye.